Today we're going to be talking about 3 actors that I had in mind before we had ever started casting Drawn Like Moths. Drawn Like Moths is a sci-fi thriller set in Washington State. The movie follows Mickey, a hardened but hopeful daughter, searching for answers. The past year for her has been a blur. She's been searching for a missing father. All leads have been dead ends, and all hope is gone, until a mysterious clue lures her into the wilderness. But Mickey doesn't go alone. She brings her unknowing friends deep into the woods towards something they've never seen before. What's good, y'all? This is Joe Fredrickson here, writer and director of Drawn Like Moths. Today on episode 4, we're going to be talking with Tony Gasperetti. He's going to be discussing some of the choices that we made for supporting characters.
Hey guys, Tony here. I'm here today to talk about Nick and Tim. The first time I met Nick and Tim, ironically, it was kind of like at the same time. Back in like 2013, I hit up Alex to help me out to make a short Fallout fan film called Fallout Sanctuary. I was like, Alex, I need some bad guys. Alex was like, yeah, don't worry, Tony. I know a couple guys that wouldn't mind playing some villains. And then when I first met them, the funny thing was, I thought they were brothers because they both had blonde hair and they both kind of like had funny accents or something like that. Tim really caught my attention initially with his voice. He has such a cinematic trailer voice, kind of a voice. I was really impressed and blown away with what he can bring through sound. Also, with Tim, he just has a knack for always playing a really great villain. I think it inspired Joe greatly to include him into Drawn Like Moths. One thing that's really cool about Tim is he will help out in any way possible. And I had Nick play the comedic relief in Fallout Sanctuary opposite with Alex Stout. He just did a really good job executing the comedic aspect of that character. But anyway, after we filmed Fallout Sanctuary, I started to get a feel for how Tim and Nick acted. The next year, we filmed a sci-fi movie called Nano Z. We had Nick play the main character called Aaron. It was a very action-oriented, physical kind of a role, or a very different role for Nick that we were used to having him play. And as fun as it was to see Nick play a main heroic character, it was breaking my heart because he's such a funny person in real life that I wanted to see the humor seep in. And we had to refrain in that movie. So at least after, it was kind of like a huge relief where it's like, yes, we can now have Nick be funny again. Tim played a very, how shall I say it? He played a crazy survivalist nutjob known as Zeke, ironically. He was only in it for a couple of scenes, but the scenes that he was in, it was just pretty intense because Tim is a very intense person. We went from Nano Z to Fallout Deuces, where Nick got a much larger role. He just 100% proved that he belonged as the comedic character because that's just Nick. So after Fallout Deuces, I decided to make a larger film called Handout, where Tim Jordan and Nicholas Kieper would be essentially 2 main characters, both with comedic relief aspects, and they just really shine for me. They just kept on just like building up on the comedy that they were bringing, and it was just really cool to see. The funny thing with Nick and Tim is that Alex Stout started a trend where he casted the both of them as kind of like partners, and I first saw them together in Alex's Gang War movie, and from then on I always felt compelled to always cast them as like partners or sidekick characters where you can get the 2 of them in a really comedic 2-shot. And lastly, I want to talk about Katy Bab, or in other words, the woman in the red dress. So I think it was back in 2014 where Alex and I met Katy in a modeling photo shoot. We really hit it off pretty well. She was a really cool girl. I think she thought it was really cool that we made movies, and I think one thing led to another, and we eventually asked if she would like to be in one of our movies. So we gave Katy Bab a small role in Alex Stout's short horror film known as Dark House, where Katy played a bicycle thief and has a very horrible demise at the very end of that. We casted Katy in a very small cameo for the Handout movie where she plays as an intern on a news segment. Then after that, we casted Katy Bab in a larger role in the Comfort Food movie. Comfort Food, which is a found footage horror comedy, where she played a woman who tags along with the main characters and goes to a party with them and happens to kill a succubus. So after all those really weird roles, we really wanted to see Katy in a more pronounced, larger kind of a role. So we thought it'd be really cool to have Katy be a main character in our Fallout fan film universe. So therefore, we made Fallout Venus, where Katy was a NCR Ranger. She plays a soldier character who's scouting the wasteland. So after Joe had seen all these roles that Katy had been in, he was inspired by her and had her in mind to be the main character for Drawn Like Moths. As we were building up to casting and going through pre-production, we were under the mindset that Katy was going to be Mickey. I think Joe liked Katy for the Mickey character because he liked kind of like her everyday woman kind of personality. She's slightly scrappy. At least for me, she kind of reminded me of like a Princess Leia kind of a character. And I think Joe had that in mind for the Mickey role. As we were building up to principal photography, it unfortunately was becoming prevalent that it was going to be too difficult for Katy to commit to such a large role for a feature film. We were trying to figure out where to put Katy and then who to play the Mickey character. We had her audition for the woman in the red dress. We saw Katy acting opposite of Tim. One thing that was really cool that helped us make the decision to cast her as the woman in the red dress was at that point, Tim and Katy had known each other and at least had acted opposite of each other for a couple years at that point. We were pretty convinced that Katy should be the one for the woman in the red dress. As we were filming throughout principal photography, our decision was proving to be correct. It went really well. Some of the coolest scenes in the movie, they're really intense, and Katy looked amazing in that red dress. Another cool thing about Drawn Like Moths is that about 80% of the cast and crew had already known each other on other projects. So when we came into this, it was like when we came into this, it was like seeing old friends just come back together. Where do I go from here, Alex? I'm having this guy in this video because I'm having a hard time remembering what to say.
I want you to say, Lorraine, destiny has popped me to you.
Yes.
Forget the rest, but that's a good starting point. Start there. You just go from there.
It doesn't really help. So it made it that much easier to work on Drawn Like Moths. And I'm done.
Some good stuff. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please join us again next week where we'll be continuing our talks on casting. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, if that's what you're into. And I'll see you guys next time.